Have you ever wondered how appraisals actually work? Who does them? What happens when the appraisal report comes back? Well, joining me today, we have a very, very special guest. We let her out from the back. We have our underwriting team lead, Meagan, on with us today, and she's going to answer all these questions for us. So thanks for coming on today, Meagan.
I'm so excited to be here. You know, I love it.
So talk to us about appraisals. We get a lot of questions about them. So let's start all the way at the beginning. What happens when we order an appraisal?
So, when a file comes brand new to us, we make sure and order our appraisal from our appraisal management company. They are a completely separate, independent third party. When we request that appraisal, they're able to contact a local appraiser who is very familiar with the area. I know we technically work with like the same appraisers over and over, so we get used to them in our community. But we don't pick them. The appraisal management company picks one. We put in the order, they go and look at the house, they send us back a completed report, and we review it.
Yes. And an appraiser's job, as I like to tell people, is to find the exact same house right next door that's sold in the past 6 months.
Yeah, it's tough out there. You know, it's a tough job to be an appraiser, which is why we hope our realtors like get their comps ready in advance, so that way that the appraiser has the easiest, smoothest route to, finding the
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Buying the other comps. So, okay. So now the appraiser goes out to the house. They come back. They're going to sit down and do the appraisal report where they're looking for those comparable sales. And then they turn it in.
Yep.
And, and you pick back
Then
up.
it comes to me. So what happens after that is our processing team will bring that file in to me and say, "Hey, Megan, we need you to look at this." And then I'll take a peek at it. It'll either get approved completely and go to the borrower. It'll get flagged in our automated system for a secondary review, and we will order that through our AMC and say, "Hey, is this appraisal completed in a manner that is meeting all standards?" Or it could be just cut. That's a really rare case, but sometimes an appraisal will be completely removed from review and we will order a brand new one. So our options are basically approve it, get a second look at it, or completely cut it.
Yes, and I'm just for our viewers, I'm just going to reiterate because you use the word AMC, which is something we say internally. So that's the appraisal management company. So if you hear us use that term, that's what Megan's talking about. So
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. So all right, first option was it's cleared, everything's good. A copy gets released to the borrower. Value we agree with. Perfect.
Done.
Second option is when you're saying a second review, and it's known as a
Yep.
desktop review in our industry. So explain to us what happens with that.
Okay, so this is kind of the appraisal came back and flagged our automated system, and we need a second look at it. So we know appraisers are the experts in value in our communities all over the U.S. This is a lending standard. We have to have an appraisal that meets all qualifications, including passing our automated systems. So we'll order a desk review. The desk review costs a bit more money, and we will have a second appraiser assigned by the appraisal management company to do a second look on that appraisal and say, does this appraisal make sense? Are the comparable used, the right ones for the area? And does the general appraisal pass quality standards for appraisals? And we figure that appraisers are the best people to quality control their own work because they're experts in their field. And so we need them. So we order that desk review. It usually takes 2 to 4 days to come back. And then once it comes back to me, I'm able to see, does this appraisal pass or does it fail? If it passes, we approve it, send it out to the borrower. If it fails, we order a new appraisal. And then we're back to that whole step one worst case scenario.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's dig down in this a little bit more because of the market the past 2 years and how home values have appreciated so much so quickly, we are seeing a lot more desktop reviews come back than normal. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. I would say we're previous to the pandemic in 2020, we had a desk review every four files, once every four files, 25% more or less. Now I would say that a desk review is pulled on 80% of files. Um, it's a huge increase. So I
Yeah.
would say that going into the loan process, we should expect to get a desk review on every file.
Yeah. And just so our clients understand, the most common reasons for these desk reviews? Would you say it's value or the value not being supported by comps?
I would say that it is the vast increase in values and the speed at which they increased.
Yeah.
So in the last 12 months, I think over the whole country, in the whole US, the increase in values has been somewhere between like 10 and 18%.
Yeah.
You probably know better than I would, but it's flying. So when we're looking at properties now that are selling today, we're looking at the last 12 months of comps and saying, they've really increased in value a great deal. Is this supported by the area? Is this going to hold? And so the automated systems through Fannie and Freddie have become more strict on this in order to make sure we don't get another 2008 ever again. And we won't, because people have a ton of equity. So there is a lot of value increase out there. We just have to get the second reports to verify that everything is done correctly.
Yes. And this is not, I'm sorry. I was going to say, this is not something that is Foote Capital specific. This is something that every lender in the country is dealing with right now. So that's why these desktop reviews are so common. And again, it's not just for us.
So my friends in the industry are saying they're seeing the same thing, because we went and asked, are you having the same experience we're having in Pennsylvania, or are you having this experience in Florida and Texas, and they're like, no, it's everywhere. It is literally everywhere, from California to New York, from Alaska to Hawaii, like literally everywhere. It can be a little bit of a burden on our lending team, from the borrowers to the sellers, because of the increased cost and the time involved to get that secondary report. But it's a good thing. When you think about it, these desk reviews validate that appraised value, and they're saying you can trust that this value is good, and that the amount that you're putting towards this house and the amount we're lending on it are going to be held. And I think that's a good thing. It's taken some extra time and money.
Yes. And something that we are doing at Foote Capital now is we are upfront disclosing for those desktop reviews, because it's so common right now, and we don't want surprises to our borrowers. So you'll see the appraisal report and a desktop review on your loan estimate up front now to help cover for that situation.
We don't want to surprise you. We don't want anyone surprised that it's going to take a little more time, or we need a little bit more money, because they're so common now. 6 months ago, I would have never asked you to get the fees disclosed up front on these. But when it got to 80% here, all over the country, I went, we better just watch for these, because they're coming.
Absolutely. Was there anything else that you want our borrowers to know?
I think that the most important thing with the appraisal process is to trust the process, trust your appraiser and your lending team to get through the process as quickly as we can. This is a long process, so don't panic. Just stay with us. These desk reviews, most of the time they pass. Very, very rarely is it an issue, really. It's just a double check, so to speak. So my advice to you is to stay calm. Just wait it out. It's very common, and it's happening a lot.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Megan. We do appreciate it, and I would love to have you back for other topics.
Yeah, I would love to.